She bent down into the dust, fingers trembling as she gathered the hot, scattered brass. The battlefield had long gone quiet, but the echoes of gunfire still clung to her skin like smoke. To her, collecting the casings was more than routine. It was survival, a way of proving she belonged among men who thought she was only there to clean up after them. That's when a voice, deep and edged with challenge, cut through the silence. A British sniper, known for his impossible shots, stared at her with a half-smirk. "Think you could hit at 3,285 meters? Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening." Her hands froze over the shells. Everyone turned. She felt the heat rise in her face, the weight of their eyes pressing harder than the sun. He had asked the question not as an invitation, but as a dismissal. She wasn't one of them. She wasn't meant to try. Yet inside her chest burned a secret, a skill she had carried quietly, a talent she had hidden in fear of mockery. She had fired rifles since she was a child, outshooting even the farmhands who taught her. But here, on this dusty ground, surrounded by men who doubted her, she had kept that truth buried. The sniper's challenge felt like a knife disguised as a smile. And for a breath, she almost lowered her gaze, ready to return to the brass scattered like coins in the sand. Almost, she stood. Her knees shook, but her voice did not. "Show me the rifle." A silence fell so sharp it stung. A few men snickered, others folded their arms, waiting to see her fail. The British sniper, perhaps surprised she answered, handed her the weapon. It was heavy, longer than anything she had handled before. The barrel gleamed, the scope polished like glass that had seen too much war. She lay flat, the dust rising in tiny clouds around her. The world narrowed to the length of steel in her arms. Every breath became thunder in her ears. She adjusted, exhaled, and let the doubts of the crowd melt into the rhythm of her heartbeat. 3,285 meters. A target so far it shimmered in the heat, barely more than a blur. Some whispered it was impossible. A record distance, a fool's gamble. Her finger hovered. She thought of her father's voice teaching, her patience, of nights under the stars when she lined up bottles at impossible ranges and hit them until dawn. She thought of every dismissal, every laugh that tried to shrink her. And then, with her chest rising and falling like the ocean before a storm, she pulled the trigger. The crack tore through the still air. The bullet raced across the horizon, swallowed by distance. For a moment, nothing. Then, a sound carried back. Metal struck. The impossible had happened. The crowd erupted. Not in laughter, not in scorn, but in disbelief that bent into awe. Some gasped. Some clapped their hands to their mouths. And the sniper, the man who had challenged her, stood frozen, his smirk gone, replaced with something softer, almost humbled. Yet even in that victory, she felt the sting of doubt. Had she proven her worth, or had she only played their game? She searched his face for mockery, but what she found instead was respect, raw and unguarded. In that moment, a strange stillness settled over them all. It wasn't about records or pride anymore. It was about recognition, about the courage it took to stand when you were expected to kneel. And when he finally spoke, his voice was quieter, stripped of arrogance. Not many men alive could have done that. You've earned more than these casings. You've earned your place. Because courage doesn't wait for permission. It rises, and it claims its ground. She bent once more, gathering the brass. But this time, her hands didn't tremble. The same dust, the same shells, but the world around her had changed. She no longer collected proof of other men's shots. She carried proof of her own, and that is the truth of it. Sometimes the challenge meant to break you becomes the moment that builds you. If this story moved you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment, share your perspective, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this, where doubt is silenced and courage speaks louder than bullets.